The Honourable Palakura Horomia.
Tēnā koe te kai whakahaere o te whare. E mihi kāna ia rātau katoa o Raukawa, a rātau o te Arawa, mai make tū e tae te Tuwharetoa, e mihi kāna ki te rangatira te hiuhiu, me rātau mā o Tuwharetoa. Nā te mea e roti āku e mihi kāna kia koutou o tērā taha ngā kanohi Māori. E reka atu e tae atu tātou i te wā nei, kei te whakawhiti atu tēnei mahi rōro atu. E mohi atu tātou mai rāno, e tuku atu ngā tupuna kia tātou, te tikanga o te awa, te tikanga o te whenua, me te tikanga o te ao katoa. Nā te pai o te take nei, kei te whakawhiti atu ngā iwi, e tae pai atu i te otinga mo tēnei mahi rōro atu. E tautoko atu ngā kōrero a tāriana mo te ahua tawa nei. E mihi kāna kia rātou e kore e kone, pēra ia atawhai, pēra ia Jim, ngā tangata e whai atu a muri a tēnei take. E tae atu tātou ki wetahi ngā hoi e kore atu mo te awa, i reira kia āchi mā. No reira mihi kāna kia rātou. Kāre hoki te mahi nei he mahi hau. Kāre hoki atu te mahi nei mo te tauanake. E rōro atu te pirangi a wetahi o tātou, hei whakatiga. No reira tēnā tātou. There is a member who preaches one thing in one city and town for one lot of people and then goes on and paraphrases ridiculously about something that is more than modernised, something that can manage ourselves as a nation forward for the future. And I'm proud that it is Māori people from Ngati, Tuwharetoa, Raukawa and Te Arawa who have the gumption to ensure that co-management becomes a reality. Here is a member who preaches zero tolerance and sticks up for all his buddies. Here is a member who goes down to my Pākehā relations in Canterbury, the Rutherfords, and makes sure they've got plenty of water for their land and thinks nothing about it. And then when Māori try to summarise and ensure that the river is looked after, something that they travelled on, that they wandered on, he starts all this mumbo-jumbo about trying to scratch that redneck itch. And it is outrageous, Mr. Hyde, and it might be a long way up for me to climb, but it's a long way down for you to slide in the sense of that. It's disgraceful. And I want to tell you about the river. I want to tell you about Mihiatu ki te kingi Tuwharetoa. And I want to tell you about the importance of it. You know, it was the democracy and the practices of this country for generations that polluted the river, that made it so unsafe to swim in, that made the damn water stink, undrinkable. It was your democracy that did that. It was the organisations who would allow Māori to come to them, to talk to them or advise them when it suited them. That's what it was. That's what councils generally did. And the voting system in the sense of those structures ensures at times that people who have an attachment to the river, both culturally, socially and economically, are marginalised because of our systems. What's so wrong about this? About subsets in the legislation of local authorities being made to stand up and to ensure that they cater for everyone. And this isn't Māori just dreaming this up this year. They have been trying to do this for years and years. My tupuna in November 1858 went to Pukawa to talk with the Tuwharetoa people, the Raukawa people and the Te Arawa people and other tribes in this country to talk about the waterways and how they would be treated then. And that's a long, long time ago, Mr. Hyde. And I'm pleased that this present minister has followed on from the other ministers in the Parliament, namely myself and Michael Cullen, in the sense of what we did sign up 2 years ago in agreeing to try to organise a structure and consolidate the vision and the strategy. And it has certainly come a long way forward. This bill does give effect to the deeds agreed between the Crown and Ngati Tuwharetoa, Raukawa and Te Arawa River Iwi, by which all parties agreed to a co-governance framework for the Waikato River. That is fantastic governance. That is commitment by people who don't agree sometimes amongst themselves, and that they put aside a whole lot of indifferences to ensure that there is a commonality, i.e. the river, and what it means to them traditionally and in modern times is something to be saluted. And Mr. Hyde stands up and tries to say that it's ramrodding, it's divisive, and it's a nasty bit of legislation, and he won't concede. He'll wait till the next time he stands up in the House and cries huffy-puffy to Tariana and says, I apologise. I apologise. Well, you should apologise right now, Mr. Hyde.
Order.
You should.
Order.
That member.
Order. Point of order, the Honourable Rodney Hyde.
Look, I was ignoring it just for the flow of the speech, but to be demanding, Mr. Speaker, that you apologise, I think he means me.
Yes, I did intervene. The member cannot bring the chair into the debate. The Honourable...
That member, Mr. Chair, should apologise to Māoridom, to the rest of the people who care about that river, to this fine minister who has enough gumption, even though he's a Pākehā, to carry on and do the right thing by the Maoris. He's done well. His co-partner is trying to muse around and ensure that there are ructions around this thing. Shame on you. Shame on that member. So I want to express and say that local authorities have not necessarily, Mr. Hyde, ensured that Māori issues have been taken care of. And you know that. I'm glad that Mr. Len Brown became the Mayor of Auckland, because it may bring some sense to it, because he has made an effort to understand Māori issues in that. And if Mr. Hyde says that this will put asunder all local authority legislation and it doesn't respect the law LAW, then he ain't respecting the law LORE. Why not give it a shot? Raiha Mahuta said in the early 80s, that the river is polluted, and she had been talking about growing her native trees on the side of that river a long, long time ago, because her people had talked to her a long, long time ago. And the simple statement that was coined was that the fish could be replenished, that they were healthy enough to be eaten again, and that the elders could bathe in the water, and that the water became clean. What's so bad about that? That member is huffing and puffing and blowing about this being disrespectful to local legislation, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker knows, coming from an area where the river runs through and makes sure that it supplies, whether it's water for dairy farms, whether it's water for agriculture, whether it's water to bathe in, but it is polluted. It is a mess. And the thing to be remembered in this, Mr. Hyde, is clearly that Māori want to clean it up. The aspects of environmental adjustment are upon us. We continue to say that we are green and clean. But this bill is an important bill. It is a wonderful bill. It shows you that Māoris, as I said before, even though they differ, can come together. Strangely, the churches never used to agree, and they wouldn't come together. Strangely, councils don't agree. But this is an agreement that should be supported by councils. Don't scratch the itch. Don't demean this great legislation. Get on board, row your waka down it, and get a good feeling out of it. Because that's what this partnership is about. It's about ensuring that Māori get rightfully what is theirs, and it is ensuring that other people can share and care for the river, and that the future progress is not stormed upon by unnecessary platitudes by people like that member.
Speaker.